Oil and Gas Investors' exclusive Premium Blend video series presents in-depth conversations with executives in E&P, finance, transactions, and technology.
Have you been surprised by the way per-acre prices in the Permian have increased since 2015?
I'm surprised, but once you know the efficiency gains that we've all created over the last 2 years, I tell investors and shareholders that a typical location has a PV of about $100,000, $80,000 to $100,000 per acre. And so people can afford to pay in the 40 to 60 range. And so there is a lot of money out there in private equity, a lot of money in companies that are not in the Permian Basin. And so everybody's realized that the margins are the best in the U.S. and the Permian Basin. So people are moving toward the Permian Basin. So there's too much money chasing too few deals. That drives up the price quickly. So it's a combination of too much money, chasing too few deals, coupled with the fact that the economics of the Permian are the best in the U.S. So when you put those ingredients together, and you can still make money, you can still probably get a 15–20% return paying $40,000 per acre. And so that's why you're seeing the prices bid up on all these type transactions. Now, most of them are in the Delaware, because most of the Midland Basin has already been purchased, and there's very few opportunities left in the Midland Basin.
Do you think the economics are based on spacing?
I think what people are doing, they're realizing that there's at least 3 zones and probably upside up to 10 to 12 zones. And so the economics I give you just recently, 80 to 100,000 for one location. If you can drill a 3-well pad and hit 3 zones, that improves your economics even more so. So if you can get 6 zones, it helps. So if you sit there and buy something and wait 3 years or 5 years to drill it, you can't afford to pay that. So you have to get a rig out there fairly quickly, and you got to develop probably more than 1 zone. But 1 zone will at least give you a decent return. Having a 2nd zone and a 3rd zone will improve the economics even better. So these companies have to get rigs out there quickly. That's why you can continue to see a jump in the Permian Basin rig count, because all this money, capital, private equity, equity offerings that are coming to the Permian Basin, you got to start paying back investors. And so the rig counts can continue to increase. I don't see the acreage values increasing much higher until we see oil prices get probably up towards 60, because people are running their economics off. They're using at least the strip. And some of them are using $60 a barrel, getting there at least in the next 2 years.
When did you decide that the Permian was going to be the center of the company?
Well, the Permian's always been the center. It's just that we used it as a base, a foundation, after we merged with Mesa and created the Pioneer name. So we used it as a base. So we spent enough money to keep production flat. So we've never sold a piece of the Spraberry Trend Area Wolfcamp. The only sale that we've done has been just in the last 3–4 years. Part of it to the southern part to the Chinese state-owned oil company Sinochem, and we've made some small divestitures in Dawson County. And you talked about the 3 that we have out right now. So we've never sold a piece. So it's always been the foundation and the base. And so I think you have to give credit, and it wasn't us, on the Wolfberry. So Jim Henry and some of the other independents that were here developing in 05, 06, 07, they started taking their wells deeper below the Spraberry into the Wolfcamp, and started using bigger fracs and started making oil out of the Wolfcamp. So that was the first thing. Combine that with what was going on in the Barnett Shale. So people started evaluating these shale zones, and we didn't get the final wake-up call. Our aha moment, as I said earlier, was in 2011, where our geo team said that we have 10 billion barrels recoverable under our acreage based on evaluation of over 18,000 wells, core data, and that was the aha moment in 2011.
Could you foresee a day when you might look to sell a piece of the Eagle Ford?
I think long term, the Permian Basin, we have over 20,000 drilling locations. At $50 oil, we have at 60 or higher, we have over 34,000 locations. The Eagle Ford, we have 1,000 locations or less. And so we've always told our shareholder base that long term we'll probably be a Permian Basin company, and other assets, whether it's Raton, West Panhandle, we only have 3 other assets. Raton, West Panhandle, Eagle Ford probably will not be part of our portfolio. But we've learned in the past, you divest when prices are higher, not when prices are low, so it's not a good time to invest. So that's the reason you haven't seen any divestitures at this point in time.
How did your wastewater deals with the cities of Odessa and Midland come about?
It starts with our position. You know, we have over 800,000 gross acres, and most of it's contiguous. And then secondly, back in when we started developing the Permian horizontal development program back in 012, 013, we started making estimates of how much water we needed. Then you couple that with the fact that West Texas at the time was going through a drought. And then you have the environmental movement that is, trying to stop the use of fresh water. And you put all those together, we said, is there other brackish water zones? And so we had our geologists map the Santa Rosa. So we are going after the Santa Rosa. It's a brackish water zone. And then we came up with an idea to use the wastewater. And so we ran lots of tests with the treated water from Odessa, and it worked. And then we struck a deal with them, and then we're going to strike a deal with Midland. And then we'll build a pipeline system throughout the entire field and distribute our water. It saves lots of, it's very economical. It'll save us over $500,000 a well, long term, versus trucking the water in, and we'll save the fresh water, both primarily the Ogallala in this area. So it's being good stewards of the environment.
With commodity prices where they are, what's your philosophy on adding more production?
You can make money at $40, $45. The returns today are 50 to 65% using the returns, using the strip price tag. And so we don't need 50 next year. The Permian Basin doesn't need 50 next year. It's strictly because we're adding 5 rigs, because we have a great balance sheet, it's great rocks, and the returns are very good.
For more videos like this, go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/heartenergy.